We're here with Sir Scoots, the coach of EG. And we have a couple questions to ask of you, if that's okay.
Quite all right.
All right.
Hit me with them.
All right. With my best shots. Okay. The first thing is, before the whole Puma debacle, EG had expressed interest in trying to get a Korean player specifically for EG. Now, what was the reasoning behind that? Like, why a Korean player specifically?
Well, I mean, they're the best players in the world, and they have been for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, as an organization that strives to field the best players we possibly can in all the genres that we represent, we are more than just a StarCraft team. Mm-hmm. We go after the best in the world. Don't always get them. They're often not available. So we've been saying for the last year or so that we have been talking and looking at Koreans. And even before he won an ESL at the event, we had already started talking to him and chit-chat with him. I mean, those are the people that you want to add to your roster. They are, like I said, the best in the world. They'll help your guys get better.
Yeah. Perhaps diamonds in the rough that haven't been quite discovered yet, because Puma really made a name for himself at this recent national. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see here. I know that, does EG have any sort of special race that it's targeting? Like, for example, like with IM, they have a bunch of really strong Zerg, like a Nesty, and it seems that whatever team that just attracts a certain bit, like Nesty, Losir, etc. Do you think EG has anything like that?
We got a boatload of Zergs, but it's unintentional in that sense.
It's unintentional? Okay, that's what I
know that when we recruited to Muslim, we were kind of looking for that next level Terran.
Oh, okay.
But he's also to Muslim, and he's world famous for Warcraft, Warcraft 3 as well. So when he was available to us and he happened to be a Terran, it made a lot of sense. But we don't necessarily at this point recruit by race.
Okay.
It wouldn't have mattered if Puma was a Terran, a Protoss, or a Zerg at that point.
Okay.
You need all of them.
Yeah,
really.
okay.
And they all can win at this point,
Exactly.
So.
Are you satisfied with their showing at this tournament so
Never
far?
Satisfied.
Never satisfied? He's spoken like a real
Never
coach.
satisfied. So I mean, satisfied would be no one's lost a map, no one's lost a match, they're all in the winner's bracket, they win every stage match. So the reality of that is that never happens.
Oh, okay.
It's just like regular sports. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. You have to take your losses take your lumps, learn from them,
right.
and try to, each event do better and better and better. Mm-hmm. The main reason we are doing a training house is you need to do that. If you want to perform against the Koreans and you want to take this game to the next level skill-wise with your players, you've got to put them in the best environment for that. In your own house, online, you're only going to get so good no matter who you are.
Exactly.
That's part of our plan, is to keep trying to train these guys and get them better and better.
Right. Okay. Well, and speaking a little bit about the house, but what do you do to motivate these guys sometimes? I mean, I know that their love of StarCraft just gets them up 18 hours a day, but is there any, what do you do when players go through slumps or other things like that as a coach?
Well, I mean, it depends on the guy. Different guys fall into different slumps for different reasons, and you have to approach. Talking to In Control is different than talking to Idra. They're wired differently, right? So my job and my staff's job is to figure out how to push each guy's buttons, because they are different. And you just try to keep them motivated, and it's easy to say, oh, it's all right, you'll get them next time, but at the end of the day, this is a really, really hard game to win at, and it's getting harder and harder and harder. The skill level, even a couple months ago, and now the Koreans are coming to our world and playing, which is great. We all want that, but it makes it much, much harder to win an MLG for sure.
Absolutely.
So it's just, again, you got to gauge your player and figure out what motivates him. Some guys are motivated by love and support and kudos. Some are motivated by money. Some are motivated by different. It's all different kinds of support.
Oh, I see.
And certainly. Another reason of our house is that's a very strong self-motivator. You want to live in a training house, and that keeps them motivated when we keep trying to help them.
Exactly.
So far they're very excited about it. So we'll see. Raleigh, hopefully, we'll see our first influence of the house, because they literally will start sleeping in it next week, so they have not.
Really? And where is the house located?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix,
Arizona. Yep.
Okay. I mean, is this local to you, or why Phoenix, Arizona specifically?
A couple reasons. Two of my players already live there, or lived on their own there. Machine and Idra
live in Phoenix.
They lived in Phoenix, not from Phoenix, but they moved there. and I live in Phoenix. Our HD studio is there. All our gear is there. So it just made, and it all sorts of reasons. Great airport. You fly all around the world. Big international airport. Big international city. Great housing market. There was a bubble many years ago in Phoenix that blew up. So you can get really good real estate.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
No, that definitely makes sense. Let's see here. Wow, I'm blanking on questions right now, so give me a second to collect my thoughts.
Best part about it is I can roll in there and crack the whip.
Okay, okay,
so.
good. Let's see here. What other questions do we want, guys?
Let's take one from the audience.
Yeah, I know, right?
No? All right, I tried.
Well, do you feel like EG has a really good reputation right now as a team?
Depends on who you ask. I mean,
it's kind of a loaded question, I think.
I think we are polarizing the world of StarCraft. So unlike other teams that have fans, they don't necessarily have haters, and I think we have definitely, a lot of people say we're the Yankees, and I absolutely hate the Yankees. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but that is not a team I like for no logical reason, no business reason. I'm just not a Yankees fan. So I think, good and bad, we are a very popular team. That's going to bring fans, and it's going to bring people that just don't like us. And nothing I can do about that, really. You just have to accept it.
All right. Oh, speaking about things that you might not be able to do little about, Koreans, it's more widely acceptable there for you to go into a professional gaming career, whereas here in America, it's not so much. So, do you have to deal with family, or do you have to what do you have to do to? I don't know, deal with that?
No, it's a good question, because you're absolutely right. It is not a cultural. Oh, you're a game? What?
Yeah,
In
exactly.
Korea, it's they're on billboards, they're on TV, they're celebrities, and especially in the Brood War days, those guys were rock stars, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And they still are.
They still are.
But I think if you would ask me that question a couple years ago when Counter-Strike was the big game and Quake, it was a much harder thing to sell the world, so to speak, on the legitimacy of what we do. The simple fact that MLG opens their doors and they already don't have enough seats for the fans legitimizes this thing instantly. 100,000 people watching streams. More people are watching this event than are watching any show ever on the Food Channel live. Those kind of things, right? These numbers are real.
It's true.
That's why IGN cares now, why G4 cares, why Kotaku cares, why everybody is starting to care. We've been here for 10 years caring. Now the rest of the world's
it's finally starting to catch
wait a
up.
minute, that is kind of a neat thing they do. So we do have and not so much anymore, having to explain to parents that we're not a bunch of creepers and that, this is why are you telling my kid he should be a gamer, he should be doing this, I want him to be a doctor, I want him to be a lawyer, and you go, well, look at this contract, look what he's getting paid, look at the plane tickets, look at the hotel rooms, and they go,
okay, this looks legitimate. This looks legitimate.
Yeah, and again, it's our job to talk, and often
that over.
Like the Muslim's a prime example. He's been in the scene for a very, very long time, and his dad helps him with his career, and we had lots of talks with him before he joined us, and his dad, like any good father, just wanted to make sure that
his son was taken care of.
Yeah, not only were we going to take care of him, but when he played Warcraft, it wasn't the same kind of buzz around the world, right? It wasn't. Right. Money was different, everything was different, so his dad just wanted to make sure, he wanted to vet the whole thing, not just EG.
Right.
And you have conversations with him, we run a business on contracts and all those things, and I've yet to have a parent ever reach out to me or anyone closely related to a player and yell at me about something negative. It's usually like, wow, you were right. Wow, look at my son's Facebook. Look at this. Wow, really?
It's mainly positive comments is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and again, it's all happening now, as they say. One of the most famous movie quotes from a movie called Almost Famous, right? Where they're, if you haven't seen that, I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but we've all been running teams and leagues for a very long time in a variety of games. The ROI is finally here. The business model now makes sense because the fans are here.
Finally.
I was standing outside. I brought out Jeff outside just to do a little interview with Gunnar about the glasses he wears, and literally 45 minutes later, we left because of interviews. Autographs, interviews, the line formed behind Jeff and did not stop till I had to stop it. 2 years ago, you'd have to go to a WCG China for anyone to walk up and go, can I get your autograph? Now, so it's, and even again, I'm just a manager, I just own and run the team. I'm giving autographs.
Right.
I'm getting pictures taken with me.
He's getting interviews.
Yeah, and I'm doing interviews, and I'm the behind the scenes guy. So that just shows me that like we're one step closer to the reality of
Exactly.
of real sports,
Yes.
you know, and how they're treated, you know, and the fandom. Because again, without anyone caring to watch or read, it doesn't matter,
No.
right? It doesn't matter. It's an empty triangle without the most important thing. So it's so reassuring to like.
Well, what do you
People care.
what do you think the next step is then from here? I mean, do we just wait until esports gets more and more popular, or do you find that there's do you think that there might be a point at which something has to happen?
I think it'll level out. A lot of people are saying, "Are we in a bubble?" And I don't think we're in a bubble because bubbles tend to mean that it's artificial and it's going to pop.
Right.
I think we are still on a scale of growth, both in player salaries, event prize money, how big my company grows, etc. And I think eventually it's going to plateau and level out, and you'll have X amount of teams fielding X amount of players, and it'll kind of it's going to be much harder, unfortunately, for the little guy to say, "I want to start a team."
Right.
Or even I want to start a website. Like prime example, I know you guys are starting a website, right?
Right.
Like you have to go against the monster that is Team Liquid, right?
Right.
That's a hard nut to crack.
That's difficult.
But we need more sites. We need more teams. We need more MLGs. So I think it's going to continue to grow, and I think you'll see bigger and bigger non-endemic sponsors and businesses starting to look at this demographic because this is the demographic TV wants. This is the 18 to 32-year-old male and female that everyone wants. They don't watch.
It's just waiting to be tapped.
Yeah, they don't watch
much.
TV anymore. They live on the internet. They get their news on the internet. I mean, and we kind of have a hold of them. I mean, this year we signed Monster Energy, huge mainstream beverage company.
Exactly.
Right. Monster leads to Coca-Cola, leads to Pepsi, leads to Ford Motor Company, leads to Verizon, you know? Just like you see sports casting, you know? It's the halftime report at TNT brought to you by Verizon, right? Lots of money in those things. So it's all coming. You know, for years we were endemic only, with Intel's, the Steel Series, the people that made stuff we use.
Exactly.
You know, for years snowboarding was sponsored by the guys that made snowboards. They made jackets, they made goggles. Now you see Red Bull, all of that stuff, right? So it's just going to keep on growing. Now, will we end up as an X Games and we're part of ESPN in some weird way? I don't know about that, but
God, I hope not.
yeah, and we don't. Frankly, we don't need to be on TV. People ask me that question all the time. It's like, God, do you think wouldn't it be cool if it was on TV? And I'm like, why? TV's on the internet now, right? And you don't need to be on TV. It's more expensive to produce for TV. So why, if you have the people watching and they're already, you know. Like I don't sit and watch TV anymore. I DVR and then I go watch, right? But I don't flick anymore, you know. So yeah, growth.
Good.
We're not done. This game. I mean, how many years did StarCraft 1 exist very well? So
yeah, exactly.
10 plus, right? So
still exists.
knock on wood, Blizzard. Don't patch this thing the wrong way.
Don't do anything
Your two expansions have to be good for the competitive scene. And
turn this into World of Warcraft.
yeah, and this thing will continue to grow for sure.
Let's switch gears a little bit and tell me about your family. I mean, when did you first start doing this? First of all, and what would you say to somebody who is wanting to follow in like a managerial footsteps? Because I know that some people do want to open their own house. They see that the time is ripe.
Yep.
But what would you say to them?
I would say, go for it. But it's definitely going to be a hard road. It gets harder and harder every year. I started in 1999. Been a gamer all my life. So I'm obviously not a young kid. An Atari 2600, Commodore 64s, TRS 80s, all these different computers I grew up with. And in 1999, I was playing a game called Half-Life, and then this magic little mod came out called Counter-Strike. And I jumped into a server, and I realized that there was a teamwork competition element to this game like any other single-player game or anything else I'd ever played. And I bumped into a couple like-minded guys in servers, and we were like, hey, we started talking like strats, like where do you want me? I just downloaded this mod. Well, how do I play? And like people were very helpful back then. Now everyone's a little more jaded, but like I instantly bumped into guys that like were already taking it seriously. They started back then. We weren't teams; we were clans, right? And this one kid, and I've always been literally older than everyone I play with, but like I was playing the server with this kid, and he was just destroying everybody. And I'm very much the games I play, I like to play support class. I don't like, so if I'm playing Team Fortress 2, I like to be a sentry or a medic or an engineer or a medic and drop sentries and stuff, right? I'm not that. I'm not that soldier that goes running out, right? Or the scout. Yeah. Although I love Pyro. Don't get me wrong.
Really?
Pyro is the cheesiest character in the game, and I love it. So I literally, like, he was just destroying everybody, and I typed to him, I go, hey, how can I help you, dude? Because you're, how can I help you? Because it's a team-based game. And he's like, dude, you watch this ladder, don't let anyone up because I'm sniping. And I'm like, all right, dude, I got it. And that literally led to him typing me and going, hey, you want to join my clan? And I was like, clan, and I'm an older guy, so when I think clan, I'm like, KKK? What the clan? Join your clan. And I'm like, well, and at that point we were on, I think Roger Wilco was the voice comm program of the day. And he got me on, he said, hey, download this and we'll talk. And I'm like, okay, download it all. And he explained to me, he's like, no, this is a team. And they were coming from a game called Action Quake.
Action Quake.
And they had a team already, and they downloaded this game and they went, whoa, this is our new game. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of
no, it's all right. No, this is fascinating.
So he explained to me, he goes, like maybe you play softball every Tuesday. This is what we do. Every Tuesday we meet in a server for a league and we play a match. And they track it, and I go, okay, like bowling leagues or anything. I'm trying to relate it to like real life hobbies, right? And he's like, just like that, dude. Do you want to join? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Sure. This sounds really, really cool. Yeah. And back then, like, there was no money, there was no sponsorship. There was like, the glory was winning, being the number one team. And for quite a while, the team I ran, and I ended up running this team called UGP, Unitary Guerrilla Platoon. And for a long time in the beginning of the beta, the first versions of Counter-Strike, we were kind of the team to beat. Long before the 3Ds and the complexities and everybody really started the business of Counter-Strike in North America with sponsors, we kind of were the precursor to that. And we would go to the CPLs and all the big events, and we would just get our ass kicked by everybody. The Euros would come over, beat us, the top US teams, but like, we saved, for lack of a better word, our lunch money to buy our own plane tickets because you wanted to play them. Like, you wanted to see how you would stack up. And it was a big, like, kumbaya jamboree of like, wow, we get to all be in the same room and someone's going to win some money. This is so freaking cool. And it was also back in the day when there were BYOCs and, there were 700 kids all lugging their computers to Dallas, Texas. So it was very Woodstocky, very communal, less pro, right? That led me to a company called Got Frag that was basically the ESPN of the scene. We did articles, we did video content, we did streaming, all that kind of stuff for Counter-Strike. That then led me, I actually was director of broadcasting for them. We did a thing called Got Frag TV for a couple of years. Again, all very Counter-Strike related. Right. We get bought by MLG, and this was, 4 years ago now. Did some stuff for them for a while. I actually was the first guy to do all their PC streams. They started with WoW as their first PC game with Blizzard. And so we streamed WoW for a couple seasons. They asked all of us to move to Phoenix, from Phoenix to, we had a little studio going in Phoenix. And they liked what we did, and they wanted to get us all closer together with MLG in New York. And they basically said, we love what you do, but we need you to move to New York. I own my home in Phoenix. I like my big pool backyard. Like, I'm thinking apartment in New York. If I was just maybe 15 years younger, that would be a hell of an adventure to take, right? But I'm not going. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'll bow out. At the same time, I've been good friends with Alex Garfield, who is the co-owner of EG, and used to be the sole owner of EG, because he started but even before Alex, they started as a Canadian Quake team and then a Canadian Counter-Strike team. And for the years of Counter-Strike's dominance, EG was the best Canadians, and they always won the WCG spot for Canada. Very, very good team. Kind of usually the third best team in America behind Complexity and 3D. Right. So then I quit MLG, so to speak. I'm kind of a freelancer, and Alex reaches back out to me. He's always teased me when I was at Gottfrag and he was at EG. He's like, dude, come work for me. Let's blow this thing up, And I loved Alex to death. Great kid, doing great business. Good. And I was like, dude, why would I go work for a team when I work for an organization that covers all the teams, right? I'm bigger than you, bro, right? I'm ESPN and you're a football team. And it was always a running joke. I was like, oh, why are you doing this to me? And so, I leave, and in that time, he keeps growing this team to be, and by the time I join EG, Complexity is gone, they've gone to CGS, and now slowly come back. Team 3D has gone and not come back, and Alex has built himself literally the number one organization in North America. And I'm like, well, yeah, now I will join you, my
Tail
friend.
between the
Now it
legs.
makes sense. Well, no, not so much
just
that,
kidding.
but now it made sense. I had nothing else to do. I wanted to stay. I needed to stay here. This shit is so real to me. This is a sport, and the world needs to see it as such.
Okay.
And so he asked me, and at the same time, my good friend DJ Wheat asked me to start helping him produce stuff. Because we had done a few things when I was with .frag, but he was kind of with the competitor organization, so we'd only been able to help each other once. But we've been good friends forever.
Right.
And so he reaches out to me, and he's doing a show called Live on 3 with his buddy Slasher.
Right.
And it's all about pro gaming and no fluff and us speaking our minds, which is what we've all done for the last 10 years. And I'm like, Jesus, dude, I finally get to work with you.
Perfect.
Yeah. So literally 2 years ago, I started both those projects, and that's led to me being CEO of EG and co-owner with Alex. And now Marcus and I have taken our video stuff one step further, and we launched OneMoreGame.tv, which is a full network of shows, all sorts of content that we do. And yeah, I mean, again, it's like a dream come true. And so back to my family thing, where you went with this. My mom, my dad, bless his heart, he passed away, but my mom has always known I was a gamer, and even when I was a kid, she would come play Haunted Mansion on the TRS-80 with me. You're in a hallway. Do you head north, south, east, or west? And my mom would be sitting there going, "Go north, go north." shut up, and she would game with me, right? And we were a big board game family anyway, so it was very natural. As soon as she grasped it, and my dad would come in and told the story to somebody else, and my dad was very much like, "What are you two doing in here? Connie, come to bed." He sits down. He literally sits down and he starts getting engaged, right? And this is a text-based, very nowadays boring looking game, right? And and my mom and I are already hours in, right? And he's getting all frustrated. He's like, "Well, where have you been? How do you know where you've been? There's no maps, there's no nothing." And so then he decides, you know what? I'm gonna be the mapper. And he runs into the other room and comes back with a graph pad, and now he starts mapping what we're doing. Next thing you know, it's 4 in the morning, and my dad's got to go to work, and my mom's got to go to work, and I got to go to school, and we're all bleary-eyed, and my dad has drawn this whole map, and he's like, "All right, we're all going to do our stuff. We're meeting back here tonight after dinner," and so they've always been really supportive, but it was never a business. It was a hobby, right?
Okay, good.
And then when I joined .frag and it literally started to turn into a business, I started joking with my mom, going, "Remember all those years ago? That nothing would ever become a video game? So I'm slowly making it my living, Mom, and I've transitioned out of my real career, and this is basically all I do." And she is a gamer, and she plays Sudoku online. She plays her solitaire and her mahjong tiles all on the computer and stuff. She has visited me a couple times, and again, I have a studio in my house that I do a lot of filming and streaming, and she's watched. And even when I was playing competitive Counter-Strike at its amateur level, she was in town a couple times and literally watched me play some matches and was enthralled by it, because we got voice comm going and we're talking, and she got it. She's like, "I absolutely understand this now," and so they're very supportive. And my two brothers were none of my brothers have real jobs. One used to be a professional rock climber, and now he's a professional gear rep for all the rock climbing companies, right?
Okay, all right.
And my other brother is a professional boat captain, sails yachts around the world. So none of us have had really real jobs, if you will. So it's we've all done these really wacky paths, but so far we're all fairly successful, I guess.
Okay,
So
good. It's good that you have supportive parents.
Yep, yeah,
That's
very
really good.
supportive.
Well, I think that about wraps
Probably
it up.
killed the hard drive, didn't I?
No.
You had no idea, did you?
No,
Yeah.
this is totally
Sorry.
awesome if we're still running.
Bro.
This is totally awesome.
Sorry, new viewers. I like to talk about
No,
this
no,
shit.
that's-
Yeah, can I swear?
It's right. No, absolutely,
Yeah.
you can. Yes, this website, se2ratings.com. Not rankings, but ratings. We're awesome. Thank you, Sir Scoots.
You're most welcome.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for the interview.
Likewise.